Okay, so you're looking at Orlando, Florida, and you're like, look, I don't know if I want to live there permanently, but maybe I should get a second home so I can enjoy it during the winter or part of the year. Well, in this video, I'm going to cover whether that would or probably would not be a good decision. Let's get into it. What's up, everyone? My name is Cameron Hodge. On this channel, I talk about making the move to and relocating and living in Orlando, Florida, and I absolutely love it. I drop videos every Tuesday and Thursday, but while I absolutely love making this content for you, what I love even more is helping you with your real estate decisions. I am a licensed realtor here in Florida, and I absolutely love helping you with your real estate decisions and making the move out here or in Florida. It's what I do every day. I absolutely love it, and I'm getting reach out days, nights, weekends, all the time. And it's what I do for a living to help you make that move out here. So this number popping up below is how you can get a hold of me. And I would love to have that conversation with you to help you make that move. All right, getting into it. So obviously, there's definitely, while there are a lot of people relocating to Orlando, there's also a chunk of people who maybe just want to come during the winter. Maybe they want to come during the summer for whatever reason. And they're like, look, or they're just like, I'm not sure if I want to live here permanently year round. And there's a lot that goes into that conversation. And it's definitely common for a lot of people to do that. It's Florida. It's I grew up in New York, so it's really common for anyone who is retired, to be able to come down to Florida during the winter because they don't have to deal with the winters up north, and they come down to Orlando, Central Florida, the villages, things like that, to get away from that cold weather. And it's definitely a common thing. Definitely have helped clients make that decision. So, but one thing you need to realize is, like, what are you going to do if you do buy a home and you're not here the remainder of the year, right? I had another video talking about buying an Airbnb property, and so for this conversation, I'm going to assume that you just want to buy the home and maybe just keep it. So whether you're buying it in cash, buying like a small little home just to get away, or maybe you do want to do something with the home when you're not here. So we're going to cover both of this. So let's cover I just want to buy the home and keep it. So there's nothing wrong if you have the financial ability to buy a home and not rent it out year round, because not everyone wants to get a short-term rental or rent out the home when they're not here. Like, it's not everyone's cup of tea. So obviously, like, you can really buy anywhere then. You're just buying a home for yourself and going through that normal process. But I will tell you have to be careful, because what happens during the hurricane season that you're not here? Like, what happens if the home floods? Like, who's checking in on the home? Like, if you don't have friends and family that live here or anyone that you trust to look at the home, if a major hurricane rolls through, like, how are you going to know something's wrong with the home? You probably won't. So you need to be careful, because you could be gone during that hurricane season. A crazy hurricane could roll through, bad things, and you're not going to know if your home flooded. And now it's just going to be sitting there until, you come back during the winter, and instead of being able to enjoy your winter here in Florida, now you're worried about, oh my God, like, what am I going to do right now trying to get this home taken care of? Because let's be honest, like, sitting like that much damage and without repairs, not good. So it's making sure you have that awareness that, hey, if you're not here, like, you have to make sure the home is going to be okay, or you have someone you trust to check in on the home if something happens. And obviously, thankfully, in today's day and age, you have smart devices. So as long as there's power, or let's say you have a backup battery in the home so that it has power to maintain the sensors, like, you can have like there's like sensors that let you know if the home's flooded, if something happens. Like, obviously, if you're not living here, you want to make sure the water's turned off, electricity's turned off, just for safety. If the home does have gas or propane, make sure that is shut off at the main valve, so that way you don't have to worry about any leaks in the home. But also being aware that when you come back during the winter and you turn all these things back on, you have to do so carefully, because you don't know, even though things are turned off during that summer season, you don't know what happened when you're not in the home. So you have to be careful. Obviously, you turn the water on slowly, electricity, make sure everything's good to go. Like, you're pretty much winterizing a home, but for the summer, right? So you have to make sure everything's taken care of, and make sure that, and also another thing, if you're not buying the home in cash, moving into the next topic, is understand that a lot of, banks have cracked down on second homes, which meaning that if you are taking a loan on the property, that you are going to pay a substantially higher interest rate to do so. So you have to make sure you factor all those things in, and that if you're not renting it out, you can cover that cost financially when you're not here throughout the rest of the year, the home's not being used. Now, let's move into, let's say you do want to get that second home, but you want to rent it out when you're not there. Completely common. When I first made my discovery trip out here, that's what happened. The owner lived in Canada, and they rented out their home in Lake Alfred on Airbnb, VRBO, short-term rentals. Now, and they had their neighbor manage it. So it's something to be aware of, that obviously that, make sure that if you don't understand managing short-term rentals, that one, you have someone in place to manage those, because it is a business, it is customer care. You have to make sure those people are taken care of when they move out there. Now, also understand that there's also a lot of expenses and stuff that go into it. Now, obviously, if you're renting it out for your own personal use, a lot of times, as long as you're taking care of the clients, it's being managed properly. Like, obviously, you're doing your best as a human being to care for the people that are renting your home. Really, it just comes down to, I mean, most people are probably just trying to break even on the home, maybe make a little bit of money. It doesn't hurt, right? Like, but as long as they're paying for everything when you're not there, that's a huge plus. And then they just turn off the rentals during the winter when they come to stay in the home. So really common. But keep in mind that, and there's another video going deeper into this conversation, but you can't just get a short-term rental anywhere, right? Like, especially if you're closer to Disney World in Orlando, like you have to have a short-term rental license. You have to make sure that if you're in an HOA, the HOA allows it. You have to make sure that the home is in a good location where people would want to rent it out. Like, you're not just gonna buy a home in the middle of nowhere and like Zellwood and think that people are gonna come and rent it out for Disney World. It's not always the case. So you have to make sure you buy in the right area. Also keep in mind that if you're at an HOA, do they allow it? Does the city allow that? What do you have to do to make sure it qualifies? And obviously, I help people all the time walk through that, and I'm happy to have that conversation. Or let me know in the comments below if you have any questions regarding this process. But it's really common for people to do. They do it. It's really, really common. It can be a very smart decision because you're not looking to make like a high cash on cash return and make a ton of profit off the property. Maybe you are, but a lot of times I think they're just trying to get it covered when they're not there, so that way it helps them afford the property. Also keep in mind that you will need a higher down payment when you come to get that short-term rental. It's not like you're buying your primary residence, and a lot of those smaller down payments just aren't eligible to you because most banks will treat it as a rental property. So you're gonna have to have a substantially maybe 20% down on the home, or maybe they do allow like 10% down, but you will have that mortgage insurance and like that. Me and the team, like, we will walk through that. We'll run through all those numbers when it comes to it, and then choose the best location that fits your needs. But it's something to be aware of. Also make sure the home you're buying, that you're out to furnish it, make sure it's taken care of, like all the things that you would need to for you. You're doing it for other people, so you have to make sure you're aware of that fact when doing it. So getting a second home, it can be a smart decision. It can be a smart one, but like I said, the really big thing is like choosing the right area, because that's the biggest thing I think when I noticed when I moved to Orlando is like you think like, oh, there's short-term rentals everywhere, and absolutely there definitely are people who just ignore all the rules and do it anyways. But I can tell you that if you run the risk of getting a fine imposed against you, like, no one needs that stress. Like, do it the right way the first time. It's like buy once, cry once, like get through the pain, and then you'll be set up for a long time, really just enjoying your vacation home, your second home, without any stress. Also, believe it or not, like sometimes we've had clients that come out here and they're like, well, Cameron, I'm getting relocated for a job, or I want to test living out of where I grew up. And my question to them is like, well, maybe we want to plan the home you're buying to be in an area where maybe in 2, 3, 5 years, if you choose not to stay here, it can be a rental where you can come on vacation but not stay here permanently. It all comes down to that plan. But that's common too. So even if you're watching this and you're like, well, I'm moving there, like I know I'm going to stay there year round. Well, but maybe, in your heart, you realize like, well, I don't know if 2 years down the road, I'm going to want to stay in the area. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. I give more respect to you being honest with everyone and yourself that you don't know if you want to stay here forever. Totally okay. So let's make sure that we create a plan to where you're buying in the right location, the home is the right style, and amenities like having a pool and stuff to where that option exists for you. Because like let's be honest, like in life, would you rather have one option, which is just like a standard rental where you're most likely because of the higher prices, you probably won't cash flow on the property if you do rent it out? Or do you want to be in an area where you can make it a second home? Or maybe you don't even want to do that and you do want to go to a standard rental, which is a different conversation. But for this, we're going to assume that, hey, a couple years down the road, like I would love to make it an Airbnb, or maybe you move here and you realize the area you're living in is nice, but you want to move to a different area and maybe rent this property out to kind of give you a little bit of income. That all can be worked into a plan to make sure down the road that it can be a functional option for you to exercise when it comes to that. So you're owning a piece of Orlando and you can just grow that generational wealth that I think is so great about real estate. And it's one of the things that I love helping people do every single day. So don't think just because you're relocating here that you have to have a primary residence. Like, there's nothing wrong with buying a home that you enjoy for you or your family But maybe a couple years down the road, if you choose to move to a different area in Orlando, which is completely common, it's not uncommon. I'll probably be in the same road down the. I can't even talk today.
Huh?
But I'll probably be in the same situation as well eventually. So you buy in the right area, you get everything set up right, you make sure that the rules and regulations in that area allow you to do what you want to do with the property, and that plan is in place to make smart decisions down the road. So, is getting a second home smart? It absolutely can be, but it depends on your situation. It depends on your financial ability. It depends on what you're trying to do with Orlando. Move here permanently and have it be an option of being a second home down the road? Or are you looking to make it a second home right off the gate and you're just looking to come here during the winter, or maybe just a couple weeks, out of the year just to do Disney World? Whatever you're looking to do, we help clients do that every single day. So this number popping up below is how you can get a hold of me directly, and I can help you walk through what that plan would look like for you. Also, don't forget to hit like and subscribe to be notified every time I drop a new video, every Tuesday and Thursday, and occasionally live videos every month, to where I try and bring as much value to you making the decision on what you want to do when making the move, investing, whatever you want to do in Orlando, Florida. I completely understand. We help people do it every single day, and I absolutely love it. So I hope you got value from this video. I hope it gave you some better insight of whether a second home could be a smart option for you, or maybe it's not. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video.